Hello, amigos. How are you? Hopefully, you guys are doing better than yesterday. And my sincere wish is that it continue getting better from now on for all of us. Since this is the last day of 2025, I want to talk about the current state of the trucking industry. Just to be clear, this is my personal opinion. There are many factors that we can point at with clarity that will help us to explain why the trucking industry has been making rich to few and impoverished to most. However, not too many people wants to acknowledge it or talk about the character of the majority of truckers, the mental and moral qualities of an individual. In my opinion, the two biggest reasons why this industry is in this current state is the hypocrisy and dishonesty as part of our day in and day out activities. I want to bring it to you, just general cases and situations, and you will be the judge. You will label it which activity fits as a hypocrisy and which activity fits as a dishonesty. And if you think those activities are helping to better this industry or destroying it, you know, it is the end of 2025 and nothing has changed in the trucking industry. In fact, has gotten worse. There was a small period during the COVID-19, the whole country understood that truckers were essentials. We were called heroes. Politicians added the word truckers in their speech, although they never cared about truckers. Brokers paid us what we deserved. They clearly understood, really quick, that without our driving skills and our equipment, they wouldn't be able to pay their big houses, maintain their expensive lifestyle. They will starve to death and bankrupt their brokerage business. Shippers also understood that we deserve respect, empathy, and consideration. They load and unload our trucks and trailers in a very reasonable time. Do you guys remember? It wasn't too long ago. And what about safety? Suddenly, safety was thrown out of the window. During the COVID 19 period, safety was not a priority anymore. Suddenly, the abusive and baseless rules and regulations and the electronic logbook was put on hold, and we, the truckers, became the safest and very mature and responsible drivers in United States of America, right? I'm just being sarcastic. Anyways, but the order came from the top to put on hold the restrictions. They said, let those drivers or truckers do their job. America needs essential things to stay alive, and truckers are the essential people to keep America moving and alive. Money is not a problem. In fact, money was never a problem. So therefore, the Federal Motor Carrier and DOT relaxed rules and regulations imposed to truckers in the name of safety. Suddenly, truckers became the heroes. We were loved and prized by the same people who before COVID-19 antagonized, mistreated, disrespected, and exploited truckers. Remember? When shippers denied us parking and restrooms, kept us for many hours, if not days, before they load or unload our trucks. Brokers who refused to pay for layover or detention when they lied for appointment times, accuse us of mishandling the loads so they will deny payments. Remember? That was this industry before COVID 19 and it still is after COVID 19. Nothing has changed. time. It only changed for a very short period of time. The sweet taste lasts for just a minute. The question is, or the question I ask to all of you truckers, to you who were essential to keep America moving, to keep Americans alive, at a time when the majority of Americans were hiding in their homes, when our political leaders did not know what to do, and the easy way out was to order people to stay home. But truckers, we never hide. In fact, we continue working, we continue transporting food, water, medicine. We refuse to let Americans down. My question is, what did we do to benefit all of us, to better this industry, to benefit the future generations? In my opinion, truckers did not even notice nor realize what was happening. Truckers did not care to understand or learn the roots of this sadly better treatment for truckers and what could be the possible consequences of this abruptly change. Everyone else in this industry, but the truckers realized what was happening. Those people who have the grip in the trucking industry, the owners, CEOs, the investors, yeah, those guys, they reacted based on facts. They reacted like any intelligent business person would. They educated themselves or pay someone to do it. That's how rich people work. That's how they do business. So they analyzed, crunched the numbers, took notes, and strived to resolve the problem. These people got together, talk about it, exchange ideas, organize themselves, and work towards the main goal: control the trucking industry, control the market, make as much money as possible, protect the money, and buy power. That's it. That was all they need to do. But they also understood that in order for them to achieve their goal, they must help each other. They understood that this was the perfect time to unite. If they want to achieve control of the trucking industry, they had to depend on each other. Most importantly, they were going to make sure that what happened in the trucking industry during COVID-19, it will never happen again. And I know that for a fact. On the other hand, truckers reacted emotionally. Their ignorance, lack of education, and ego took over their rationality. And truckers saw the money grab opportunity. That's all they saw. They filled out their wallets, and instead saving for difficult times, they became greedy, ignorantly and stupidly greedy. Truckers never thought ahead. Truckers refused to look ahead. Truckers focus on instant rewards. Instead, planning and organizing to make this industry better for all, for the future generations, nah, they didn't do that. But this is what they did. Those drivers, the same drivers who hated when they were driving for pennies for someone else, those same truckers who hated and felt insulted, abused, and exploited by bigger companies, corporations, shippers, and brokers, those guys with their limited knowledge about this business and an unlimited hunger of power and greed saw this situation as an opportunity to acquire more trucks and hire drivers. So the abused and exploited became the abuser and exploiter because you guys didn't care if the driver you hire was legal to drive in America. You did not care if the CDL was obtained legally in America. You didn't care if the CDL was from Mexico or Canada. You didn't care if the driver was fluently in English language. In fact, you didn't care if the driver was trained and ready to drive 80,000 pounds machine down the road in the United States of America. You know why? Because you guys don't give a fuck about this industry, nor American families. on the road. Some of those truckers also became brokers. They saw the opportunity here. They thought, we as truckers don't make money because brokers cheat and lie to truckers. So that's how brokers make their money. Therefore, I am going to become a broker. I am going to cheat and lie, even though I didn't like it when brokers did it to me. Other truckers became dispatchers with the same goal in mind. Basically, former truckers selling to truckers to brokers or shippers. The middleman is stealing from the truckers to give it to brokers and keep it some for themselves. Slaves selling slaves type of thing. Some guys obtained their CDL or started their trucking business. And the next day, they were leasing trucks and hiring drivers. Imagine that. Those guys were the snake oil salesmen. They had never driven a truck, but they saw the opportunity to exploit truckers to make money. Truckers who became YouTubers and started their own dispatch courses online. And the saddest part is that some of those had no experience on the road and didn't know crap about logistics, and others didn't even speak English. Can you imagine what was going on in their mind of those guys? The level of delusional confidence to lie and cheat to other drivers. And as you all know that we are in USA, right? We must speak English in America. That's the way it's supposed to be. And what about those truckers in YouTube bragging about how much money they made driving trucks, showing their $1 million homes, their luxury vehicles, and expensive toys? You know, Hollywood lifestyle. Do you guys remember? How dumb and stupid someone can be to put that kind of content in YouTube. And then those same truckers were crying and blaming others for their misfortune. Too many truckers, they say. Too many trucks on the road. Illegal drivers are taking my job. Non speaking English drivers are taking my job. They began blaming everyone else for their own stupidity. This is the point where I lose my mind, guys. I can wrap my hair around. It boggles my mind. How can people be so hypocrite and dishonest? How can truckers do this to themselves, to this industry? When we had this wake up call during the COVID-19, when all of us were respected in every sense of the word, we could have done something to keep it that way. We could have organized, but no, we didn't do that. Truckers did the very opposite of what the owners and investors of big companies and corporations did. Do you get it? Do you understand what was happening while you were acting stupidly and ignorantly greedy? You were digging your own grave. You were building your own trap. I remember during COVID-19, I was down in Florida talking to a TQL broker over the phone. We were talking about this load. Um, so he paid me what I asked for without hesitation. Before he hung up the phone, he told me, "You guys are getting paid exorbitant amount of money." Well, that was his ignorant opinion. Because we have no other choice. We need you guys, he says. But as we speak, there is people getting together to figure out how to stop this chaos in the market. This COVID shit caught us by surprise. We were not prepared, but we will make sure this doesn't happen again. So save your money, be frugal, and invest. You guys will not see those rates again. This 5 minutes conversation with this broker from one of the most successful brokerage companies in America after C.H. Robinson, it was an eye opener for me, guys. Keep in mind, C.H. Robinson was created in 1905, and TQL was created 92 years later. So think about it. You don't have to be a rocket science to understand why we are in this situation, do we? And we can draw a parallel line between what happens in our political system and what has happening or what has been happening in the trucking industry. So this is my conclusion, and this is how I can this is how I can describe politics with trucking. See, most of you guys became truckers because someone told you it is easy money. When things didn't work out the way you expected, and obviously your expectation was based on lies, so you also didn't care to learn more about this industry. So you grow frustrated. And because you are too lazy to educate yourself, you start looking for someone to blame for your misfortune. So someone whispers in your ears, "Hey, bro, you are not the problem. It is not you. It is the immigrant driver's fault. Because of them, you are abused and exploited. They are taking your job. They are lowering the rates. So what you do? Now you feel better. Again, your ignorance, your lack of education, your laziness took over and you reacted emotionally. You become blaming and hating other drivers. Then a politician comes along and says things that you want to hear. You are poor because other poor people is taking your job from you. Your ignorance and hatred makes you blind. You refuse to see the reality, so you vote against your own interest. You don't realize that we, all of us, the working class, are in the same boat. So the point I want to make is the decision you made in the trucking industry was based on pure ignorance. The decision you made in politics was also pure ignorance. This industry has been in decay for the past 30 years or more. And I am here to tell you that before you start blaming someone else for your current situation as a trucker, I honestly believe this is the perfect time to reflect and make changes for the well being of all of us. We must understand that we depend on each other. If you succeed, my possibilities of me succeeding is greater. We must understand that. You must sit back, relax, and think about that. For once, be honest with yourself. Reflect on the part that you play in this industry. Ask yourself the hard and honest question: why you do the things you do? Why you think the way you think? Are you treating people the way you wanted to be treated? Would you recommend your son or daughter to pursue this profession? See, the rich and powerful organize and build institutions to protect themselves. How come we can't grasp those ideas? How hard it is to understand the only way to protect us from abuse and exploitation is to organize ourselves. No one is going to do it for us.
I also will make a strong suggestion. Stop selling yourself short. You are essential. And the only way we can compete against big companies and corporations is drivers and small owner operators getting together and organize. Remember, together we are stronger than corporations. And as you know, politicians are in corporations' payroll. So think about it. Thank you for watching my video. Help me to grow this channel. Like it and subscribe, please. Thank you. Wish you the best.